Today I'm going to show you guys how to do a photo transfer from a photo printed with a laser printer onto watercolor paper. We're using a Golden brand regular gel gloss medium with a foam brush, and we have an old credit card. I'm using my old staff ID. We're going to use this as a squeegee and a paper towel. Let's get started. Alright, I printed this photo from a laser printer. It is 5x7. My paper is 8x10, so I can use an 8x10 regular frame. And when I place my photo onto the watercolor paper, I will be placing it ink down. And you just kind of want to make sure it's evenly spaced all the way around. And I'm going to try to only get glue where my photo is going to go. When I say glue, I'm referring to the gloss medium that we're using. So make sure your paper is nice and clean. Okay, and then we're going to use the foam brush and we're going to apply a thin layer of gel medium where our photo is going to be. So I'm just going to brush a really light, even coat. I'm using the flat end of my brush to make sure that my edges are really flat and straight. You can notice that I am going up and down and side to side. Okay, now I'm going to place my photo on top of my paper. That looks pretty straight. And I'm going to use my card to just push it down gently. Make sure there's no air bubbles in it. Now I'm going to press down a little bit harder. You can see the extra gel medium that's coming out from underneath the photo. And just wipe it on your paper towel. And now I'm going to go the other direction, make sure there's no air bubbles. That one had a lot of glue in it. You can see I made a little wrinkle right here, so I'm going to go back and get that wrinkle out. And you don't want to do this too many times, otherwise you will create a lot of wrinkles. This is wet paper. You don't want it to rip. So now all we have to do is wait for this to dry until tomorrow, and we'll take it off tomorrow. Okay, this is the paper on watercolor paper. It's completely dry. Let it sit overnight. So now I'm just going to spray it with some water to get it off. It has to be wet. And I have a bowl of warm water here. I'm just going to dip my fingers into the water and start rubbing on the back of the paper in a circular motion. You can also go back and forth too. We're just lightly taking the paper off, very slowly. You have to be very patient for this part. So you don't want to push too hard, otherwise you will rip a hole in your image. If you feel yourself getting frustrated or impatient, just take a little break. You don't want to rub too hard or go too fast. So I'm gonna keep working on this, and then I will come back and show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, so this is my paper transfer onto watercolor paper. I got most of the paper off. Now I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to come back and get that last layer off. But overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I got a little bit off of that corner right there, but this is after wiping the first layer of paper off, and now it's dried, so you can see there's still some paper left. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing and just get the fingers wet and just rub that extra paper off. Hopefully this is the last time we have to do it. Sometimes you have to do it 3 times. So I'm going to finish this and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Alright, so I got the second layer of paper off. It's still wet right now. There's a couple spots on here I'm not sure if it's going to rip or not, so I don't want to keep rubbing those spots. I'm going to let it dry completely and hopefully fix those spots when it's dry.